I'm Simon Dewsbury, PGA staff professional here at Belmont Country Club. In today's video we're going to look at warm-up routines and what we can do if we've only got a limited time before we actually tee off. If we get stuck in work, get stuck in traffic, or we've got to drop the kids off somewhere before we can actually get to the golf course. So we're going to look at what we can do in terms of putting drills to get a feel for the speed of the greens, maybe a couple of little chipping and pitching drills, as well as maybe a couple of drills to stretch out and hit a few balls on the range before we actually get to the first tee. Let's go. Okay, if we don't have a huge amount of time, we do want to though get at least an efficient warm-up session in. Before I even hit some golf balls though, I would just want to go through a couple of easy stretching exercises and warm-up exercises that I found to be effective, and it works from the feet right the way up through your shoulders and into your arms and your hands. The first one I like to do is just to work on your finger strength, but it builds into the shoulders a little bit as well. If we just take hold of the golf club with all the fingers wrapped around the grip and the thumb on the opposite side, we're going to lift it out to the side. And what we want to do is we want to try and walk the shaft of the golf club up through your fingers without lifting your arm up to try and raise it up. You're just trying to lift the golf club up. You're not trying to jump it through your hands. You're not trying to trap the club between your fingers. You're just walking it up through the fingers. So this is going to work on your finger strength for your hands when you're on the golf course, making sure that the club is secure in your fingers. Once you reach the club head, you want to walk it all the way back down, and you want to try and do this as many times as you can before you feel like your arm is going to drop off. I can get to about 3 or 4 times before I really feel like I've got to stop because my arm's really sore, and then whatever we do on one arm, we're going to switch and we're going to do it on the opposite arm as well. But again, all the fingers are wrapped around the shaft. We're not trapping it between the fingers. We're not going to try and throw the club up through the hand. We're not also lifting the arm up to try and cheat ourselves into raising the shaft up. And we're not doing it by having the shaft on an angle either. The shaft has to stay vertical. And that way we're lifting the entire weight of the club whenever we're doing this. And again, you want to try and keep doing this as many times as you can until you feel like your forearms and your shoulders are getting really tired, and then stop. The more you do this, the longer you'll be able to do that, because those muscles in your forearms and your fingers are going to get a little bit stronger. The next one I want to do is actually going to work across your shoulders a little bit, and that would be to just have your hands, again, with the shaft resting into the cradle of your thumbs, just rotate your arms over. Don't let your hands open up, just go as far as you can without the club coming out of your fingers. But this is going to stretch your forearms, it's going to stretch into your biceps, your triceps, and into your shoulders. And all we're going to do is 5 rotations each side. And if you want to push, you can go up to 10. And then my next one would be to just rest the golf club on my shoulders, and now I'm just going to slowly stretch out, keeping my feet shoulder width apart, but I'm not going to let my feet and my legs move around a huge amount. I'm going to try and create a little bit of resistance and a little bit of separation between my shoulders and my hips, so that now I'm stretching out and working around the core muscles here. Particularly if you have a bad back, this is going to be a really good one. It's slow and stretched, so we're not bouncing the club by twisting around really quickly, because what that will actually do is overextend the muscle and then have it snap back and go even tighter. So we want to do this always slowly and under control, so the muscles are reaching their full stretch, but they're not then going to snap back and get actually tighter on us, but give us that extra flexibility that we want. Rest the club down. I'm going to turn you into a little aeroplane like we're on kids in the playground. And all we're going to do then is we're going to just tilt over and take our golf posture so that we can then continue that stretching feeling, but now the hand is going to go down to the knee, the other arm is going to go out behind us, so we're stretching out across the chest. We're going to have a little bit of hip rotation, so there's going to be a little bit of leg movement now, but again, it's slow, controlled movements, and we're trying to maintain our golf posture as much as possible. We see off this camera angle now, I'm not letting my hips get underneath me where I'm slouching into it. I'm keeping my hips out so that I'm maintaining good posture positions. And again, just 5 stretches each side will do. We're then going to go a little bit further over, try and maintain as straight a knee flex as we can and go as low down as possible. If you can't get down to your toes, just go as low down your shin as possible. But if you can get down to your toes, again, you want to stretch out. And this big going all the way down here now, this is going to begin to stretch down into your legs, down into your hamstrings, because the more flexible they are, the more mobility we're going to have in our golf swing. Again, one of the big reasons for early extension in the swing is that the hamstrings are tight and they pull our hips forward early in the swing. So everything that we can do, not only to stretch the upper body, but to stretch down here into the hamstrings as well, is going to be a really good one for making sure that we can maintain our posture and keep that position here without the hips getting pulled underneath us by these muscles and these hamstrings getting too tight. The last one that I like to do, this works on our balance as well as core stability. So we're going to actually stand just on one leg. We're going to bring the knee of the opposite leg up so it's at a hip height. And then we're going to roll the ankle. We're going to do 5 rotations one way and then 5 rotations the other way. And then we're going to do the same but with the knee socket. So we're going to make sure that the thigh stays stable and we're going to roll the knee. 5 one way, 5 the other way, and then we're going to go into the hip socket itself. Again, 5 rotations out, and then 5 rotations coming in. So this is actually working the flexibility and strength of the hip flexors as well as the knee and the ankle, but it's also making sure that the ankle and knee and hip that we're standing on have got some strength in them so that we've got that stability. But again, whatever we do on one, we're going to do on the other. So 5 rotations each way. If you do find this difficult to maintain your balance, try and fix your eyes on something that's off a little bit off in the distance. It's usually a little bit easier to maintain your balance when you're focusing on something that's further away than when you're focusing on something that's just down here in front of you on the floor. But again, that's helping with that stability of the ankle, knee and hip of this side. And I can feel that everything's working there. So as I'm doing this stretching exercise here, that would actually help to work into my follow through position, making sure that that hip stays open. And again, coming inwards both on both legs in my backswing, I'm turning into that hip, and then in my follow through I'm going to be turning into this hip as well. So they're really good simple stretching exercises. They're relevant to what we're going to do on the golf course. So don't think that these stretches are just something you should do on the practice tee. These are things that you should be doing every day, whether it's at home in the morning when you wake up, whether it's in the evening when you get home from work. If you're on a conference call and you can stick it on speakerphone, there's nobody else watching you. If it's not a video conference, you can stand up and do it at work as well. On your lunch break, everything is going to help to gear you up to play better golf. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and if you've got any comments, leave them down below. Any suggestions for future videos as well.
really appreciate the input.